People love to talk about how things used to be cheaper back in the day, but the only reason you can afford a vacuum or a blender these days is because it's actually designed to break. So let's talk about planned obsolescence. It's the reason why your phone slows down and your blender breaks and your washing machine probably won't make it past 5 years. So the perception that things were better quality back then is true, but it wasn't for you. It was for rich people. So a lot of older things are called heirloom quality, meaning they're designed to last a long time. Now when people say they don't make them like they used to, they're right.
I'm going to call your attention to the machine here, the mechanical part of it. The Vitamix, this stainless steel bowl, made out of the finest material in the world for the preparation of food. The same material that's used by the United States government on all the battleships and in the hospitals for the preparation of food, stainless steel.
Your grandma's sewing machine probably still works, and her cast iron pots from the 1800s are still functional. But here's what no one tells you. Your great-grandparents were not out here replacing appliances every few years because they probably didn't even own any. In 1920, a refrigerator cost between $500 and $1,000, which is equivalent to $6,500 to $13,000 today. For example, this blender from the 1950s cost $39.50, which is about $500 today. But back then, federal minimum wage was 75 cents an hour. These weren't everyday purchases. They were barely even regular people purchases. Only the wealthiest households had full sets of appliances. And even a simple toaster was a luxury item. The average family did not go buy a washing machine when theirs broke because they probably didn't even own one. And that's why heirloom quality appliances were so durable, because they had to be. If your fridge broke, you didn't replace it, you called a repairman, swapped out some pieces, and kept it running for as long as you could. So if heirloom quality appliances were so durable, why don't we just make them like that? Two major things happened, and that was plastics and better manufacturing technology. Before the 1950s, most household items were made with metal, glass, or wood. All of them were durable, but they were all expensive. And then plastic changed everything. Plastic made products cheaper to manufacture, so now companies could sell millions instead of thousands. Made it more accessible, so now the middle class could afford things that had once only been available to the rich. Now it also made things easier to replace, which sounds good, but that also means that products weren't designed to last anymore. Here's a part that gets overlooked a lot. It wasn't just plastic, it was the way manufacturing changed that led to the decline of the quality of products we have now. So as the industry became more advanced, companies realized they could thin out materials, make products lighter, make them cheaper. They could design appliances with fewer replaceable parts and make repairs harder. So technically, plastic made things cheaper, but companies could have still made durable products. But if things are more durable, people don't buy them as much. Now check out this vintage fridge from the 1950s. It's still running 70 years later. And someone on Reddit has owned it for the last 5 years with no issues. That would never happen with a fridge built today. Manufacturers really looked like that making things last forever wasn't very profitable, and that's when intentional obsolescence became the industry standard. If your washing machine lasted 30 years, you wouldn't need another one. And the problem is that companies need repeat buyers, so they figured out how to fix that. And one of the first industries to do this was light bulbs. In 1924, GE, Philips, and Osram formed the Phoebus cartel. This was a secret agreement to intentionally make light bulbs worse by limiting their lifespan to 1,000 hours, so people would be forced to replace them. And that set the new standard. So it's not that companies can't make things last longer, they absolutely could. They just don't want to. And the worst part is that even if you wanted to keep your appliances running for decades, good luck. Older appliances were designed with repairability in mind, and you could replace a belt, swap out a fan, or fix a motor. But now, some manufacturers don't even sell replacement parts at all. And other manufacturers make buying a new appliance cheaper than doing a repair. Now, to be clear, you can still call a lot of companies and get replacement parts, but why would you spend $30 on a rubber ring when a brand new blender is $29? And this is why right to repair laws exist. Because companies have a financial incentive to make repairs more difficult. So were things actually cheaper back in the day? No. It might feel cheaper, but when you adjust for inflation, they were wildly more expensive than the cost of that same item these days, but they lasted longer. Things are actually cheaper now, but you're buying them over and over again.